Anyway, so I'm Brenton. I'm from Lovable. I am coming into you at 1:30 a.m. from Australia. So thank you for people that are nearby joining as well. I'm going to show you a few things in Lovable today. I imagine some of you may have heard of us before. If you haven't, fantastic. Looking forward to that. What is Lovable? Lovable is an app builder. It's a prompt-based app builder, so it uses AI to build the app for you. You don't have to know code. Code's old news now, right? Anyone can build apps. You can build apps. 5-year-old kids can build apps. I've seen it. We have some 80-year-old people building apps. Everyone. And I'm a non-technical person myself. I'm a generalist. I'm as general as they come. I'm smack bang in the general area. I've come from a background of mostly customer service, project management, business analyst, public service work. And just like you, I'm proving that anyone has the tools now to achieve anything they want. All right, so I'm going to bring up my screen. One moment. I'm going to build a couple of things with you today, actually. The first thing I want to show you is just the basic functionality of the app. So this is lovable.dev. That's it there. So all you have to do in here is say, I want an app that does X. It builds it for you. You don't have to do much more than that to start it off. We've also, as some of you might be aware, if you're up to date on the AI news, ChatGPT just released GPT-5. So I'm going to do a test run of that as well. It's available for the next couple of days as a trial for people. It's not part of our default mode. We just want to throw the tool out there to people and let them try. So I'm going to put this tab here. We'll do GPT-5, enable it there. Just to give you some sort of background of how this works and what it can do for you, let's start with build me a landing page for generalist world. And use a hero image, just a big image to show us what it is, from Scotland. That's where Millie's from, so let's go with that. I'm going to just run on the background now. So it will start spinning up its own thing. Now, this is what people might refer to as vibe coding. You just chill here and vibe out for a minute or two while this does its building, watch a movie, listen to some music, whatever you want to do. Ask Brenton some questions if you want, but you can actually watch it here. This is building. Now, this is actually using a new feature we've added called agent mode. Agent mode is just a more advanced way of using the app. It has the ability to do multiple things at once. It also has more tools like generating images and editing images, which I'm going to show off in a second. So this should only take another 30 seconds and you have a website of some description. As just a show of hands or show of comments, how many people have been building with Lovable? We've got many people in the room that have already used it. Yes, I can see Millie nodding her head.
Yeah, the chat is going bananas. I don't know if you can see the chat. It's loads of people. Yeah.
There we go. I'm catching up. Heard about it, but never used it. Awesome. Love it. I'm scared because I have kids to take care of. I don't know what you mean. Get your kids to build on Lovable and you don't have to take care of them. Free babysitter. There you go. You're sorted. Okay, looks like it's just finishing up now. So it's been building these separate pages here. Oh. And it's come up with this design, the features it thinks that the app should have. And it'll give us a little preview in a second. Welcome to Generalist World. Okay, so that's our hero image in the background, quite green. Just creating some different features I think Generalist World has. Does this sound about accurate, Millie? I mean, we haven't given it any prompts, learning pathways, skills, global perspectives, voices from the community. I don't know if these are real people, but we'll say they are. Sarah Chen, thank you for your support for Generalist World. Okay, and at the bottom, this will start your journey. Click to connect. Now, a new feature I want to show you just quickly, while we're playing around here, is the ability to edit images with agent mode. This is one of my favorite features that's just come in. So let's say change the hero image sky color to pink. And for me, this is just a really exciting thing to be able to edit images in here. You could use other image services, but it's already implemented here. Why not? There we go. It's added a little bit of pink in the background. It's still sort of green, but that's okay. We could keep working on that. I'm going to try something else. Add an Eiffel Tower. Scotland's getting an upgrade. Sorry, Millie. GPT-5, I will show you shortly. There we go. I've got an Eiffel Tower and some hot air balloons on the Scotland horizon on the mountains. That's what we need, right? Okay. That's a little play around, nothing too exciting. I'm going to try and build something a bit more useful now. We'll get our GPT-5, enable that. Now, GPT-5 is a little bit slow. We'll have a few more minutes to talk in a second. I want to build an app that scans parking signs because I struggle with parking signs. They're so complicated. There's always a mess of things going on here in Australia. I'm not sure how it is over there. Wherever you are, it seems everywhere in the world, parking signs are an issue. So I'm going to create something where I can just scan an image of a parking sign and have AI interpret it. I'm going to use Gemini from Google to connect, and it will interpret the data for us. It will scan the image. So build a mobile friendly. I want to be able to use this on my phone. This may take a couple minutes. But in the meantime, if people have some questions while this loads, feel free to ask me now. Now's a good time.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions from the chat. One is it able to extract information from LinkedIn?
Okay. Not natively, you'd have to get some sort of plugin that did the scraping for you. So Lovable builds apps that are a front end face, right? And then you can connect it to what's called a backend, where you store your data and you connect your other services. So we're going to talk about that. You can see I've got a tab open here called API key. API is, think of it as like a telephone line, right? It's what's going to get you through to where you need to go. There's APIs for all sorts of different things. In this case, I'm using an API to connect to Google, Gemini. There are scraping services that are built specifically for LinkedIn or Reddit or Discord, so on. Have a look at them. Some of them out there, I believe, one off the top of my head that does it might be Exa. But there's a variety of different tools you can have a look at. And I'm sure in the future as well, we're going to be bringing in MCP connections, which is a different type of way of connecting with things. It's a lot easier and there's a lot more tools available out there. So that will come soon.
Awesome. We have a couple of questions while we're loading. Does Lovable connect directly to Stripe? I love the thinking of already monetizing.
Very good. Yes, you can integrate with Stripe. There is a Stripe integration direct with Lovable. There is a docs page on our website on how to integrate Stripe payments. It's not too complicated to learn, but it's probably something you wouldn't want to do in this session because I've only got about 20 minutes to show you some stuff. That might take you about 30 or 40 minutes, just depending on how complicated you want it. If you want, particularly things like if you want to be able to track user data associated with the payments, that's where it can get a bit more tricky. But you can follow our docs on our website. There is a way of integrating it. It'll be done in less than a day. And you can always reach out to us for support.
Okay, we've got another one that says, I'm a newbie to vibe coding. I guess we all are. I'm not sure who said that, but like we're all newbies, right? It's all new, so we're all learning. How do I deploy this? So like transferring the built website to the hosting company.
Yeah, sure. There's two ways to think about this. You can host directly on Lovable. So Lovable lets you host. You can connect to a custom domain, have whatever domain you want. I've got a number of websites that I've created where it probably takes me no more than 5 minutes to add my own custom domain. Then if you want to host externally, at the top of the page here, you've got sync your project to GitHub. So you can transfer the project out of Lovable, all the files to GitHub, and then you can transfer that to wherever you want to host. Also, should you be more technically inclined, you want to be able to use something like Cursor or another tools. Again, you can export to GitHub and then import it into those other tools that are a bit more technically advanced. Also in Lovable, if you are a coder, you can open up the code here and just manually edit the code yourself if you're capable. I'm not doing it. I'm not touching it. I'm staying away. Who's next?
Okay, can we create a chatbot assistant within the website?
Yeah, definitely. We might be able to do that today, actually. I will, once GPT-5 loads, it's a bit of a slow process. It's very smart. I just wanted to show you that it does things, but you may have to wait a little bit longer. But I will look at adding in a chatbot functionality while we're here as well.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. Okay. There's a couple of questions around security. I'm kind of going to merge them. So the first is around, yeah, how do we make sure that our API keys and Stripe webhooks are secure?
Yes. Okay, so you never, ever, ever store your API keys in Lovable. Don't put it in the chat. It won't let you paste it anyway. Don't let anyone see your API keys. If anyone who doesn't know why you shouldn't do that, API keys connect you to services which you often have to pay for, such as Google. And if you share that key with someone, they can start charging your account, and people who have lost thousands of dollars, they cannot get refunded. So be careful where you share it. Don't put it directly in the front end of your app. What you want to do is set up a backend. So the backend is where all the data is stored. It's where all the connections happen. We've got a native integration with Supabase. Supabase is one of the most popular databases that are out there now. And through here, if you said, I want to use an API key connected to Supabase, it will give you a pop-up where you can put the API key, and that will be safe. It won't be shared anywhere. It will be totally secure. You could also manually go into Supabase and put it there yourself. The other thing that's very important is before you publish an app, or even perhaps while you're still building the app, click this publish button. At the bottom, review security here. It does a complete comprehensive security review. You've got to go through multiple steps. If you've got any sort of leaking data or anything like that, it will cover all that for you.
Brilliant. A second kind of question around security. How does Lovable handle security if someone wants to build a complicated app but has no idea about security and infrastructure?
Yes, we force people to do the security review. So that's recently come in where we're actually, you'll get a pop-up down in the bottom of the chat here that say you have to complete a security review. Do it, follow it. I guess after that point, if you're choosing not to follow security suggestions, that's on you. Obviously, we try to do what we can. We scan through all of the apps that are in our database to find any major security breaches. Yes, that's also just by doing this security review process that we have here.
Okay, grand. We've got more questions, but I'll let you keep going.
Right. Perfect. All right, so this has generated something. As you can see, it's got a capture and an upload button here. I'm not sure if this is going to let me use it while I will try it and use this camera while I'm here. let me open this into a new page. I sort of turned and pressed ignore this thing that I shouldn't have done. There we go. Now it's asking for my camera. So I select allow. Will it also work while I'm in here? Perhaps not, but that's all right. We can work around that. So it's also got an upload image button here, which doesn't appear to do anything just yet. So I'm just going to ask this. Upload image button does nothing. Fix. That's simple. Now, there is a learning curve. You still have to learn and still have to prompt to get what you want. This should only take like 1 minute to fix. It's a pretty relatively easy fix.
All right, then a really quick question while your 1 minute's happening.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you have templates that you can build off?
Yes, there is a way of doing templates. Let me show you what that looks like. So down here, these from the community section is a list of projects that are publicly available and you can remix them. So remix just means you create your own copy and you can edit it however you want. So people have created their own templates that you can just work from here. There's heaps and heaps of them. You know, all sorts of different things. You know, there's games, cryptocurrency marketplaces, so on, so on. Endless is there, and we're expanding into having some other types of templates as well, which are probably more generated by us. All right, this is still building. It's fixing something itself.
Okay.
One more question. Let's go.
Another quick one. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we export and keep the code for iOS and Android apps?
This is a web app builder, so it doesn't build native iOS, but you can export it and convert it into a PWA, which is sort of like a wrapped version of a website app, and that will allow you to get it into an app store. You still have to jump through some hoops, as with any app getting into an app store. But yes, you can export the code and turn it into a mobile app. All right, now let's try this. Upload button generates upload here. And I've got some images of parking signs. Let's have a look at this. Perfect. So it's got this image that's gone through and it's extracted this. It means absolutely nothing. It's gibberish. We haven't connected anything here. So what I'm going to do is connect a database. So backend, connect a project, and I'm going to go to this one. So what I've done there is I've connected to Supabase, which is that database in the backend I mentioned before. So it's just doing this connection now. It will take 1 moment. So it says I'm now connected. You don't have any tables, so there's a completely empty project there I've not done anything with. Now it's prompted me, I could add user accounts and log in. I'm going to skip that today. We don't need this. I just want an app where people could run around and take pictures, essentially. Next, I want to use Gemini, and I want to use the API, which I've already saved somewhere. Hopefully you're not seeing anything that's being grabbed right now. You can get the API key from Google here. So you go Google AI Studio and find Gemini, get API key, it will generate one for you. I'm not going to do that because I don't want you to have my key, none for you. But there's a whole bunch of different API keys. You go to ChatGPT, you could go to Claude, you could go to whatever you want to connect this to. Supabase's way of calling the API is called an edge function. I know these are terms that are going over your head. You'll learn them later on. Don't have to remember them now. Create an edge function. Gemini API key. So this is going to go create the backend it needs to, and then it's going to give me a prompt for the API key, which I've already saved. Got copied. Another question. Let's go.
Go. All right. We've got a few. Is there an inbuilt feature to make the website EU or GDPR compliant? Basically the cookie banner.
Mm. Not not straight off the bat. You can ask for it. You can prompt to add it, but it's not a default across apps. I guess the reasoning behind that is not every app is going to operate in EU and be required to comply with that. But yes, you could simply put in a prompt there. I want my app to be GDPR compliant, add a cookie banner, and it will sufficiently cover that.
Yeah, that's a beauty, right? Like, what do you want? Just prompt it and it will invent it for you. And I think that's the same kind of thing with templates. Like it's almost templates can be helpful, but also you can kind of just like prompt it to be whatever you like. Just a follow-on question from the mobile app development. Is this something that Lovable is considering in the future, or is your focus
Yes,
primary? Yes, there you go. Hard
yes,
yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Hard yes. We are definitely looking into it. It is a very long process to get to that stage.
Yeah.
I guess for us, there's higher priorities at the moment, but it's definitely 3 out of 4 priority. It's definitely up there.
Awesome. Another question, or you want to keep going?
You go. Another question.
Okay. Can you start with a specific design idea from a tool like Figma and then explain what you'd like Lovable to do?
Very interesting question. We used to have import from Figma. It stopped working not too long ago. I just got told we've got that coming back very soon. I've just watched a demo on that in a meeting before this. I expect to see that available relatively soon. I can't give a time frame on that. But yes, you can import from Figma soon.
Okay. Um, I'm not sure the exact angle of this question, but let's go and see what comes out. How well does Lovable work with adding real customer data? I've heard some issues with this, and I did ask what the issues were, but I'm not sure if I got an answer.
Yeah, I'm curious what the issues are there. Um, there's lots of production ready apps that are using Lovable. Millie, you've built apps using Lovable with real customer data. Um, yes, plenty of production apps that use customer data. So I guess I'd need more information about what the issues are there.
Okay. And
Feel
a
free to
quick
come back.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. A quick one. Which model is the best to use with Lovable currently?
good question. So generally speaking, Lovable doesn't allow you to pick which model, right? We're only doing it at the moment because there's this new release, and we want people to have the ability to try all the new tools that are out there. And this crazy exciting world of AI where things are just changing every week. There's a new LLM and this and that are coming. Um, create the edge function. Anyway, we'll come back to this in a second. So only while this new release is happening are we able to use GPT-5. But generally speaking, Lovable uses a mix because some AIs are better at doing certain things than others. Claude is for a while now been known as being the best at doing the coding, the more technical stuff. So we use Claude for that more advanced technical stuff. And then there's things that are, say ChatGPT is better at certain design elements, or Gemini is better at certain design elements, and so forth. So we use a mixture of the 3 big ones that are out there.
Cool. Hopefully that helps. Um, how about things like data privacy when it comes to like passwords, payment details, bank information? Would you come back to again that security review as your kind of stopgap?
Yes, definitely. Go to do a security review. Don't store data in the front end. Make sure you've got a back end like Superbase where all your data is stored. That's the 2 things. Safe data in the back end. Do your security review so no one can get there.
Party in the front, business in the back.
Okay. All right.
Do you want a spicy question?
Sure.
All right. What would you say are the biggest wins of Lovable versus something like Replit?
Okay, that's interesting. Um, Customer happiness maybe would be one I'll put out there. I mean, Replit is a meant to be a very similar tool, vibe coding, so on. It's also quite a technical tool. They've spent many years building it, and at the same time, changes have happened in AI, and Lovable come along and caught up to the game, and perhaps I want to say pulled ahead. I guess it's just down to good timing. I can't really offer much more than that. I haven't used Replit a lot. Just from the feedback I've got is people get pretty similar results, but they find Lovable to be easier to use and more friendly and more lovable. It's design wise, it's just something people enjoy to use. So that's where I think customers are more satisfied. We're more designed for the generalists of the world, if you will.
Wow, you're in the right room. That's
Perfect. So
awesome.
I'll go back to this. So
Go for it.
it's added the edge function, which I asked for, which will call Gemini. And then I've just asked, I need to add my API key, and it's given me this little pop-up here, add API key here. This is the only place you should ever put it into Lovable, is if you get this pop-up that says add API key. So I've already got one. I'm going to put it there, submit, done. That's saved it into Supabase directly. It hasn't saved it in Lovable at all. So if you don't want to do it that way, the only other way safely to do it is to go into Supabase and add it manually. That's not a very complicated process, actually. So you can just search online edge functions and adding APIs. Great, your Gemini key is set. Let's have a look at see if this works. Let's try this one. Didn't like that. I'm reading this as because it's extracted text here. I suspect that earlier on when we didn't put the API key in, it decided it would try to create its own system to analyze it. So I'm going to just ask it, remove the... It should come back with a, yes, we were doing this and it was wrong. We need to do this. Questions. Again, this is vibe coding. There's lots of empty space in between your building. You'll learn to watch some movies and stuff while you build your dream.
Yeah, and I was just saying in the chat, like this is perfect because this is what vibe coding is. It's tweaking, it's prompting, it's iterating, it's seeing what it comes back with, and then tweaking some more. So this is an ideal like realistic use case. And speaking of use cases, what would you say is Lovable's best use case? Basically, it's USP because they want to understand what they should be using it for.
Yeah, sure. Look, where we absolutely thrive, where people know us best for is building your prototypes and building your MVPs. You're someone who's got an idea and you want to launch a business, and you need to get something good enough that you can validate your idea. You don't need something that's going to be operating for the next 30 years. You don't need something that's going to get you an IPO. You just need something to convince a customer to give you money, and or if it's not money, if it's something, just subscribe or whatever it is, just engage and validate that what you're doing is real. You can we're going to build this, hopefully get it done in this session in half an hour roughly, and then I'll be able to go out into the world and solve the problem. And that's the whole point, is build quickly and get validated quickly. That's the where we probably excel. But then there's power users, there's design agencies who run entirely built production ready lovable apps. If people are interested in following more, I'm going to give a little plug here. Sorry, Millie. I'm doing a webinar with AWS on the 19th. I can send Millie a link about that. But we're going to have Harry Roper on board to do that. Now, Harry is our original power user. He's someone who was just a designer, not a technical guy, but a designer who designed apps for maybe 40,000 a year his salary was, and then discovered Lovable. In the last 8 months, he's got his design agency up. He's got 12 employees. He's $1 million ARR. He's killing it. But there are people who are very good at Lovable and can achieve those great things, and you can too. Just takes, but like anything, it takes practice. There's a skill to learn. Okay, let's have a look at what's happening here. Just refresh this. Perfect. Reason, no stopping at all times. That's what I want to see. Let's try another sign here. Okay, time limit, 1 hour parking, no stopping. So it's reading the sign, it understands what the rules are. Now I could spend some time filtering this out, right? I could add features like, give me a status of whether I can park on the left side or the right side of this sign, and then get it to split the answers for the signs, right? And then make it easy to read. You know, I could build this all up out, and I might spend a few hours doing that. But let's try that chatbot feature someone said before. Cool. Let's see what this does. Questions?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's talk about credits. How often do people reach limits within the monthly starter plan?
Yeah, I mean, that entirely depends on what you're building. You know, this app here, I have, what have we done? We did 1, 2, 3, let's say, you know, probably about 5 or 6 prompts there. If I wanted this to be as good as I wanted it to be, to do those things I mentioned about splitting it up and making it easy for people to read, I'd probably spend somewhere around 40 or 50 credits, right? Say I wanted to add user logins and payments as well to it, maybe another 50. So you could get user logins, an API connected to an AI like this, and payments, and that would probably be about 100 credits. That would be your 100. I guess it gets more complicated when perhaps you're using multiple API keys, or you're you know, going back and forth over design elements because you're not a design person. And that's where it can get tricky, because design is one of those things where it kind of requires talent, you know, to have that foresight of you know, I want this size writing and this color and so on and so on. You know, it really is how complicated and how big you want to build. But I would say for most people new to the product, 100 credits is going to do you just fine to understand it.
Awesome. One more question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. If I want to host my page on my company's Webflow site, is the best way to use iframe? Or what's the best and easiest way to get content from our own page as a generalist with little dev resources?
Yes. That is a tricky question. I mean, iframe could work. I'm interested about what sort of data they would want to get from their website and how they mean to bring it into this. That's a bit probably could go in multiple ways. Why are you using Webflow? Just build on Lovable. I'm sorry.
That's a short answer. The person who asked, I'm sorry, I don't have your name, but if you want to raise your hand and come up and give more context, you're very welcome to as well.
Please do. Just quickly, one more question. Let's go. This looks like it's still going.
All right. If I export my app out to GitHub, what programming languages does it spit out?
Yeah, so all of the Lovable apps are built in React. They also use Node.js and TypeScript.
Awesome.
Zara.
Let me unmute you, or hopefully Edger will unmute. Edger.
Hi.
There we go.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
Zara.
I'm a massive Lovable convert. And we have like a classic like Webflow website, which like doesn't really work very well, and it's really hard to do stuff. That's why I came to
Mhm.
Lovable.
Wonderful.
But I can't really change it right now. It would be too much of a shift. But I'm
Mhm.
trying to, I want to like test propositions, like get them so it looks like it's our website. Because the problem we have is if we build landing pages now on Lovable and then I share them with people, they're going to be like, why is it got this URL and not that URL? And you move between. So how do you kind of, I don't know if other people kind of have this problem as well.
I mean, the easiest thing to resolve that would just be keeping your custom URL and having your Lovable app redirect to your custom URL. So, I mean, killing off your existing website if you're no longer going to use it. If you're going to use just Lovable moving forward, you don't need that
Yeah.
Webflow. I'm not sure if you can do that or not. Perhaps you move your existing website to a new domain and use the existing custom domain for your Lovable app.
Okay. Thanks.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I think it's like a longer term question, right? It's like it's a big thing to do a shift
Hmm.
at this point. So I think we need to just kind of find a way to.
Hmm. What sort of data are you trying to bring across?
It's more just like we have like a standard website. We're health tech, so we have to be quite careful with how we're like dealing with all of our kind of back end data.
Yes, yes. I've, that is something I've heard from the medical industry and health industry. A lot of concerns about compliance and backend. I guess that's something that's probably a better question for Superbase if you're going to use Superbase, or you know, you could potentially still have your backend you have now connect to
Yeah,
Lovable. But yes, that might be a bit more of a technical question beyond my capabilities. But I'm happy to connect you with someone much smarter than myself.
that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, reach out to me. I'll make it happen.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right. So we've got our image stuff up here. We have our chat down here. Um, let's see what happens. How can I help you with your parking or city regulations questions? Let's just try something that's not like that. See if it knows the answer. Beautiful. Ooh, that's not the answer I'm looking for. Let's just confirm. Let's go again. Why not? Looks like we got Millie here, so yes.
Oh yes, I'm here. I'm here. I was just writing that. That's actually a great prompt just to say like confirm that you have this access. Like this is amazing to see in real time so that we can start to steal what prompts you're using.
It says it's confirmed there.
That's a dangerous question you asked.
um, interesting. It appears that it's not actually searching externally at the moment. It's giving me the LLM to answer the like general questions it can within here. Um, but it doesn't want to search Google for me, which is a bit unusual. I would have thought that Gemini would do that. Um, but nonetheless, we have an AI chatbot here. Maybe it only knows parking sign stuff. No, there we go. That might require a bit more playing around. I'd have to look at the logs. But there is a chatbot here. It is Gemini. That would be normally how you would do it. Perhaps if you used a different API, ChatGPT, how are we looking for time at the moment, Millie?
We got like 13 minutes.
Let's see if I can create one.
Vera asked a good question while you're doing this. Can
Yes.
you see the chat logs? Like, can you see the error logs? Can you access them?
Yeah, so I've got these here, Gemini chat logs, and it'll bring up Superbase's logs. And in this case, this is just logs to see that the request is being made and the request is coming back. They're not so much error logs. You could add error logs, like just by saying add and debugging. Important word to know, debugging.
This is the absolute nerdiest way to spend a Friday evening, and I am having so much fun.
Now, I presume that you can only see Lovable at the moment. Is that right?
What do you mean, sorry?
You can only see the window with Lovable in it right now. You can't see another window. Perfect. Okay, let's try this. Let's go for another question, but it is building some logs for me, and those logs will actually show up in the console. So console is F12, which I just pressed there. It will show up here any error message that we would be getting if we are having. So you see there's a couple errors here. They're not of concerns for us right now, but if we had other errors that are major concerns and you weren't getting anywhere, you were sort of stuck in a loop, that would be the best way to resolve it. Cool.
Great.
We'll just try one last time. Try that. See if it works. I don't feel confident just at the moment. Okay, let's change this.
We also have a question waiting on
Yeah,
the
please.
raise hand.
Who do we have?
Are
You
you able
have-
to?
Oh,
we
Akil.
Well, just gave asked to unmute, but let me know if you are able to do it. Oh, no, just gone. Maybe it was a mistake.
No worries.
Any other questions while we've got some time?
Yes, we have one, and maybe this is a question for you, Brenton, but also just for like the chat, is how do people manage having subscriptions to lots of different platforms, lots of different models when you're in the experimentation and testing stage?
Great question. There isn't an answer. No. I think you should just pick one. You pick one at a time, and if it suits you, you stay with it. If it doesn't, don't. I can't recommend one over the other because each has its own intricacies. One is better than the other. But like yourself, I have been on a shoestring budget, and I just choose one that gets me through most. It could be ChatGPT, it could be Claude. Using API keys themselves like this, you only get charged for how much you use them, right? But obviously, you're talking about subscriptions and plans. Yeah, I find pick one that does all your bread and butter, and then jump in and out of others as you need to. All right. This case, I've asked to switch to ChatGPT. It's asking for an API key again. I'll do the same. Let's go one more quickly.
All right, we've got a formal question. If I build something with Lovable and deploy it for a customer, they will want to know what kind of contract is behind, if there's data processing, liabilities, they're based in Germany. I guess where can they access this information? And also whoever, I think it was Sandra that asked it, feel free to come up and give more context. If you like.
I mean, that is a tricky question. I mean, every country has its own regulations and compliance laws that vary. I couldn't be the person to be giving you legal advice, so I don't want to do that. But whatever you build on Lovable, it's yours. It's your code. You own it. It's your property. I guess it's really up to you to ensure that whatever you've built does comply, and you create your own policies as the developer of that. We are not responsible, I guess, for what you build in the end. Yeah, I guess that's probably the simple thing. I would suggest if you are concerned and you are operating a business like this, it sounds like you're in that really technical nitty gritty, get legal advice. That's what I would recommend.
Great advice. And I think we've got Akhil back.
Akhil back? Yes.
See if we can get you up. Akhil, asked to unmute. Okay.
Hello. Hi, Brent.
Hey, Akhil.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my microphone is not working earlier, but actually, we are currently using Lovable in our organization, so we are not exactly strangers to this application, and it's really a great one, to be really honest. I was the one who asked the chatbot question because we are currently building a chatbot AI assistant within Lovable application. So over there, we were facing an issue regarding our training the chatbot with our data, the personal organizational data to answer the questions relevant to our organization. So
yes,
is there any way to do that, or could you please suggest any ways, because we're not able to figure it out exactly?
Yes, there are two ways about doing this. There is fake training, which means you just give it a set of rules to follow, right? You give it a set of pre-existing scenarios and it already knows the answers. It's not really learning. You're just giving it very strict guidelines. And that's the easy way of doing it. But it's not an evolving way. It just requires you to regularly update whatever scenarios it might have to deal with. Then there's training an AI model, which is a much more complicated process. That's something that's outside of Lovable. You really want to look at, I guess, what you're sort of training it for. You could be training it for images. You could be training it for text. There's many different ways that you could train it. I would probably really point you in the way of somewhere that teaches AI on a more technical scale. I guess Lovable is much more designed for people who have no experience with AI or no coding. And it's really that entry level. It sounds like you're getting into a more advanced realm of things that's outside of what you build in Lovable, and it's more about building some sort of unique backend elsewhere. I would point you somewhere like perhaps Build Club. I'm not sure if you've heard of Build Club. They're a company that teaches people all different levels of AI. So check out Annie Liao. She's been supporter of some of the work we do here at Lovable. I'm a fan of her, and not just because she's Australian, but I mean, Build Club is global, and that's where I would point you. They would be able to help you get some learnings on training models. Sorry to give you a bit of a non-answer there, Akhil. I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Okay. We've got our chat with ChatGPT. It did say Gemini here before, but it has updated it, which is a nice little touch. Let's see what this one says. Our original response before was, you are speaking with a large language model. You are speaking with an AI assistant. Let's try the same question. Let's see where we get. I'm cautious about that answer about here to help you with parking and city regulations. Let's have a look. There we go. That's nice to see. An entrepreneur and community builder best known for generalist world. There we go. We have a live chat bot working here. Who is Hugh Jackman? And I think we'll get a good answer. That's probably an easier one. But anyway, it works. There we go. That's how you get a chatbot. I hope I answered at least one person who had that question today.
Yes, and I won't take offense to Hugh Jackman being more famous than Millie Tumity.
Oh, well, not by much. You got more value in text here.
I probably publish on LinkedIn more than Hugh.
Perfect. Now, I'm open to stay for Q&A as long as you decide, Millie, this is your show.
Beautiful. Is there any burning questions? And maybe what we'll do, Edja, if you want to drop the LinkedIn post so that if people need to jump, they can still find us on LinkedIn. This is where we hang out after all of these sessions. Come and nerd out further. You can also bring your questions there and ask Brenton live on LinkedIn. But if there is anyone with a burning one, before we wrap up, feel free to pop it in the chat or to raise your hand.
I love all the responses here. I've just scrolled down to like 150 comments. So fantastic effort, people.
Rule number 2, be collaborative. You know, people are using it. And so now rule number 4, be brave. Go and post about this, tag us all in it, and we will help amplify you. See you all at International Generalist Day, September 3rd. If you want to host, fantastic. If you just want to come along, fantastic. And I hope everyone enjoyed. We're going to pop this on YouTube so you can come back and nerd out on it some more. And thank you for coming along to summer school. Thank you, Brenton.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy for the community that you have built. Generalists are taking over the world. Let's do it.
Generalist vibes on me. Thanks, everybody.
Yay. End of summer school.
End of summer school. Oh.
Goodbye, everyone. See you at International Generalist Day. Bye.
IG.